Water.
Okay, welcome guys. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to our guests, Sister Oley Dibba Wadda and Jainaba Ba. Good evening to our audience. It's a great pleasure to have you two here today. We are very honored. Unfortunately, my co-host, Mr. Goswell, Johi Goswell, cannot be here today because of bereavement. But, you know, on his behalf, I say a big welcome to you, ladies. We are very, very much honored to have you today. I guess I will let you say hello to our guests, our audience. You can say hello and introduce yourselves, and then probably speak greet them in any language that you wish. I give the audience to Oley Dibba, please. Jainaba is my sister, so I will try probably give you more today in courtesy. Welcome, Oley.
Thank you very much, Kejau. Good evening, assalamu alaikum. To all our listeners, kontaan naa torop pour nekk fi tey pour waxtaan ak yéen ci fan UDP ak fi ñu bugg a dem ak li ñoo def ak li ñu bugg a defar dëkk bi. So we are here to discuss the United Democratic Party, where we want to go, what our vision is as a party, and you know, some of the areas that we want to touch on, especially in relation to diversity. So I'll stop for now, and I'll get my sister Jainaba to take over. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Oley. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, Gambians all over the world where you are, both in the Gambia and in the diaspora. Sending greetings to all of you. As Sister Oley said, today we are here to talk about gender and language diversity in the United Democratic Party. And I will be speaking to you in Mandinka, in English, but I'm more going to be in Fula as well. So that is the agenda, and hopefully, inshallah, we will try to address the issues that are confronting us. And as you know, this year is 2021 election year, so we will be addressing issues to our people. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ajaratu Oley Dibba Wadda and Ajaratu Jainaba Ba, Ajara Mabui, Jirijen Jeff. I think I will just go on and pose the first questions to Mrs. Oley Dibba Wadda. About a year ago, almost 2 years now, we had from news from social media and everywhere that an impeccable lady by the name of Mrs. Oley Dibba Wadda decided to join the United Democratic Party, and it was received with great joy by UDP supporters. surprised by some people were really surprised by the news. So I wonder what factors motivated you to join the mighty UDP.
Thank you very much, Kejau. I think I've responded to that question so many times. So many people have asked me about it. I think, there comes a time when at a particular age in your life, when you realize, when you make decisions and you have to weigh the pros and the cons of a lot of things and a lot of dynamics. Before I joined the UDP, I kept saying UDP was not my option or my choice. But, I think I had been listening more on the perception of UDP from the outside rather than from the inside. But after deep reflection, after deep prayers and consultation with family, friends, and my network, I made the decision finally that I wanted to join UDP for various reasons. I think it's, there's something that I bring on the table, and there's something that I learned from UDP. Bringing on the table, I think, my background on being a strategic person, well-versed in strategic analysis, my leadership skills and the vast network that I have, both regionally and globally, my interpersonal skills, I'm a proactive doer, and also, my communication skills. And I think more to do with my personality, the empathy and integrity that I have, and, the humility I have as a person. So, but for the UDP, I thought this party, when I went in there, I found out that this was a party that was very receptive, very open to change, had, the party leader had a vision of where he wanted to take the party, and was very welcoming and open. And today, I mean, it's over a year now. Nobody calls me Lungtang anymore. I am now a full-fledged member of the party. I'm no longer a stranger. I feel like I'm part of a big family. So, but yeah, it's 1 year down the line. Do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. Would I do it again? Go around the same decision? Yes, I would. So I think in a nutshell for me, I think what really drove me was the passion that the UDP militants and members have for the party. It's like, it's unconditional. The unconditional love that I see UDPians, us, that we have for the party, irrespective. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. The passion, the drive, the belief in the party, in the leadership. I think that was, that was very inspiring and motivating for me as well. And I was influenced by the diverse number of women that were really iron ladies within the party, powerful women. And that was a good sign for me that, for somebody with that has a background, I did my master's in gender analysis and development. When I saw something like that, I thought, wow, this is a party that is open and that allows women. I mean, today the UDP is the first of many. We have the first elected female national president. We have the first elected deputy party leader. We have the first female mayor. We have the first youth mayor. We are just the first of everything. And I think that says a lot about the party. And like I said, I went with my instincts, and I have no regrets. So this is what I wanted to say about, joining the party and what I'm bringing and what I'm learning. I'm learning so much. I'm still at kindergarten stage when it comes to the political dynamics, but I have a lot of members within the UDP family that are mentors to me, that are advising, guiding, some younger than me, but I think that's the beauty of the UDP family. So yes, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're welcome to the party, and from the little time that we've seen you with the executive, you've done a great job, it looks like, and we are really grateful that you choose to join United Democratic Party, and I hope you will achieve what you aim to achieve when you join. Welcome Sister Jainaba, you and I have been in the struggle for decades, and you know, we've met in Sweden. But can you tell the audience? I think we were in Codec together as well. You know, the executive of Codec, that was the umbrella organization for the struggle, if you like. So can you tell the audience why you decided to join the United Democratic Party? Because I think you joined many years ago, probably about yeah. Okay, you go ahead and tell them, please.
Thank you so much, Brother Kejau. Thank you so much. Yes, I joined the UDP party. This was in when we had the Stockholm Diaspora Dialogue. And after that, we had Codec. And at that time, it was not popular to join UDP. As we know, Yahya Jammeh was here ruling, and it was a difficult period for our people, for our nation. And it was like a choice you have to make, a conscious choice. Do I want to be sitting on the fence? Do I want to be with Jammeh, or do I want to struggle, to join the struggle with my fellow compatriots and make a difference and reinvent the future? So it was not easy. And even in consultation with others, they are like, you know, UDP is this party that is in permanent opposition. And there is no way, because nobody was foreseeing that actually Jammeh could be removed through a ballot box. And in 2013, I decided I was going to join the UDP party. And that was also out of, you know, maybe like consciously, because at that time UDP was supposed to go on the road trip to tour the country. And it was like there came a problem and fundraising, and I decided I was going to send some money. And what really moved me was the reaction of the party leader, that after receiving a small amount of money, he was so gracious. And he called, he took my number, he called and he said, thank you. You know, you would send money to family, you yourself will call to confirm with them. But with him, he called. And for me, that really touched my heart. But at the same time, the reason why I joined was, if you really want to make change, if you really want to touch lives, you cannot be on a single platform. You cannot be behind a tangent board, you know, just writing and writing. And of course, writing is good. And we've had forums like Gambia L, the Gambia Post, and online newspapers where people vent their anger. And that is very good. But in order to touch lives, you have to be organized. And the highest form of organization is joining a political party. My ideology is very close to Doi because I have a Moja background. I have this background of really struggling even during the Jawara era. And I went into exile. I was exiled because I was part of a student movement, organ of the revolutionary students, and then part of Moja. And because of that, I went into exile. So it was a conscious choice that for me, since Moja didn't work for me, and Moja was very close at my heart, that I have to see a political party. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be the way I want it or how everybody wants it. But I have to make this conscious choice to come and be part of something that is in the process of being built and contribute what I can for this party. And that was what motivated me. And as you can recall, Geneva was there, Ghana was there, the rest became history. You know, when people went to the United Nations making a plea that Jammeh should be boycotted. And coming to UDP, of course, our sister Oley was also saying, you have this signature that this is a one tribe party. And when they say that, it's like, this is a Mandinka party. But it's far from the truth. It's like it's the detractors and our opponents who are saying that, peddling that. I mean, what I want to say to Gambians is that people must make a conscious choice to join a party based on the issues. What is this party going to offer you? Is this party going to help transform your life, to help you build a future for your children, for your grandchildren, for your progeny. Because politics is interest. And when you look at the agenda, the manifesto of the different parties, people must be able to take the initiative themselves and join a political party to address your issues. But if you don't join the party and you can stay outside and start saying, it's a Mandinka party. And one thing we should remember, when it was very difficult, when we were in the trenches, it was the mass Mandinka people also who came out, who were the women who were singing at the courthouse. In fact, I can still see vividly in my mind's eye, people were calling out and saying, Banjul people, come out, where are you? Because it was like putting their life on the line. And people are not willing to do that. Sometimes you must be ready to sacrifice for something. And for me, it was like, now is the moment. Since my school days, I was like, I want a better Gambia. I want a Gambia, small country that could be really a paradise on earth. And what I was seeing, I was not happy with it. Even during Jawara's days, whereby tourism was a priority, and mothers and parents were taking chairs and tables to school for their children. For me, that was a no option, because one tourist cannot sleep on 2 beds, yet there are 2 beds in a hotel room. So that struggle, that was what motivated me, that change was not coming. And then Jammeh came and he was so brutal. He was so merciless. He didn't have heart. And all the atrocities that he was committing, it was like, no, we have to stand up. And that was when you and I and the others, they and all these people, we met and we said, we are going to go all the way. We are going to demand to have our country back. And coming to UDP, as Sister Oley said, is an inspiration, because there is so much humility. I mean, you are family. There is nothing like she came today, he came yesterday, this other one was there for 24 years. No, once you come, once UDP is like everybody is equal. So I am making an appeal that today, as we start this program, as we proceed with the program, that Gambians, please, don't say UDP is a Mandinka party. UDP has all the ethnicities. We have Fulas, we have Jolas, we have Manjagos. You even saw the Manjagos dancing during the Congress. We have Akus, we have all the Sarahules, we have everybody on board. And yes, when it comes en masse, as I was saying, for people who are in the forefront, I mean, people must take that initiative also. You don't have to be dragged, and UDP's doors are open to everybody. So, I mean, so that we have more time, let me stop here and then we can proceed. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like Jainaba did a great job of covering so many things that we were going to ask. And you can see the activists, the struggle coming out. But yeah, so, Sister Oley, coming back to you, the fact that, you know, when you joined, you had so much influence on so many people, you know, so many people were happy that, you know, the skepticism that UDP is a Mandinka party is being thrown out of the window by a formidable lady who was in the, in international organizations and non-Mandinka speaking. Because I don't think you can speak Mandinka very fluently. You've got a Mandinka surname, but you cannot speak fluent Mandinka. And then when you came a year, 2 years on, you know, we saw you at the Congress, and everybody was impressed by the organization, and people have started saying that is it Oley's influence that you know, the party is so organized now, you know. So can you tell your audience what you bring to the table, because your resume speaks a lot about a lot of experience, you know, and the fact that you are well educated, you know, throwing away all that to join a political party. What can we expect from Oley in the few years to come, and you know, what do you bring to the table apart from the fact that you know, you are encouraging so many other diverse Gambians to join our party?
Thank you. I think I don't think it's Oley. I think there've been a lot of work. When I went in, I already found a lot of work that was already going on. A lot of work that was going on. I think one observation I had was that a lot of it was fragmented. So many people were doing so many things, and it was in different places. And I think just being, bringing those different work that different people have been doing from the diaspora, from here, the Halal group. There have been so many things. I don't think there's anything per se that I have brought in that is different, except helping to coordinate that fragmentation of work that different people were doing. And a lot of this was on, on the party leader's shoulders. Carrying everything was having to go through him. So I think helping to be able to dissect that and bring different groups together, I think that that has been one thing that I've helped in the coordination. But like I said, a lot of work had already been done. I found it there, and but was able to help to bring all of those together so that we can focus on where we want to go. I think the other part of it was also for me coming in, there are not that many women that are daring to go into the political landscape. And I think that has also motivated a lot more women to dare to engage in politics, whether it's with UDP or anywhere else, because of naturally of the stigma attached to it. And I also got a lot of cautioning from people, around that. But, when you make a decision to want to do something, you go in head on. So for me, those were some of the areas that I've been engaging, but I also committed myself to the party that I have come home. I am not looking for a job, but I am committed to give 75% of my time pro bono to UDP. And that's what I've been doing, working, I've been, going out in the fields, working with the women's groups, working with the youths, working with the party leader, engaging with the party leader at, when we have international guests, and just working with other members of the party and the executive on strategic issues and plans and vision. I think for now, what we are focusing on is really putting together, the party's agenda and the manifesto. That has already been completed, and again, all of it was there, but it was a matter of putting all these things together. So my role has been being more of coordination, from the technical, the technical strategic part of coordinating the different areas of work that needs to be done, and also helping to mentor a lot of the younger generation within the party, quite a number of them, mentoring them, helping them to identify where their strengths are, and how they can help to grow within the party as opposed to just being on one side. So these are some of the things that I have been bringing to the table, and I've been learning a lot in the process as well. Thank you.
Yeah, we are grateful for the collaboration that you seem to be bringing, and we have seen so many other new things that are coming into the party policies. I know, as you said, you found those things there, but it's really, really impressive that UDP is really, if I can say, coming out of the shadows, because people used to associate parties like DOI with policies and policy statements every time. But now you can see that it is UDP taking the lead in that. Apart from electing our women into leadership roles, I think that is really, really impressive. Jainaba, your background is science, if I get it.
Yes.
You're professional in is it biomedic? Yes. Right. So you are a professional in your own right, and such talent, such education are really, really rare in our country. Women in science is really, really important, and I'm sure you can bring a lot into the table. But you went into when the coalition came, you went to Russia, and we've seen the great impact that you had, with Russia. Can you tell us briefly, apart from the fact that when you joined about 7, 8 years ago, you motivated so many people to take another look at UDP, to see that this is a party that is not Mandinka party alone, and we are attracting Fulanis as well, and the fact that well-educated women have started joining the rank of UDP. Can you tell the UDP audience, as well as Gambian women who are watching, what you bring to the table and how other women can come join and bring the same thing to the table? Because we think, our future of UDP and Gambian women, should be in politics, and we are encouraging women to come. We believe that with women in leadership role, our country can be really, rescued, if you like. So can you tell our audience what you bring to the table, and from your past experience, what roles you played in UDP already in Russia, and now if you are really coming home to join to Oley and the others to help out?
Thank you so much for that question. Yes, I have a science background. I'm a scientist researcher, and basically it is like the research that I did was on the first paper. My master's degree was on hepatocellular carcinoma and liver cancer. That is hepatitis and liver cancer, because we have that also in the Gambia. My second master's was on cortimoxazole, prophylactic medicine. Normally it's called, the generic name is called Septrin, that is given to HIV patients, because normally when you have HIV, as we all know, your immune system is suppressed, CD4 cells, that is your small soldiers that fight diseases. So they are measured in, to make it simple, is like when your CD4 cells go below 200, it's like, that is the time when HIV patients start to have pneumonia, they would start to develop cancers and stuff. So WHO had this framework, like a policy, that when that starts, you should give them Septrin. But my research was done at MRC with Dr. Sabali, who is now in Brikama. And at MRC, it is like when the CD4 counts are below 500, then you start to give them Septrin. And that went very well. Was working at Karolinska in Sweden. Karolinska also is the institute that gives the Nobel Prize in medicine and physiology. And there was where I was doing all these projects. With UDP, when I was an ambassador, before I became an ambassador, that was like with this activism and deciding consciously to do something, joining a political party. There were people in Sweden who are UDP. Presently, our chairperson, Alaji Seni Jamme, they had UDP. But they were very few, because people want to travel to Banjul. People want to meet their families. It's a threat if you are an opposition. And I remember when I said I was joining UDP, I took permission from you, or I took leave. I said, Kejau, I'm going to join UDP. I think I sent a mail to you and Landinyasi and I said, I'm going to join UDP because this is what I think, this is the way to go. And with all the activities that have happened, then there was the coalition, and I was nominated by His Excellency, the party leader, Mr. Dabo, to become an ambassador to Moscow. I was not a diplomat. And going also to Moscow, it was not like I was going as UDP. I was going as representing my country, representing the coalition government. I mean, being there on behalf of the president of the republic, because he is the guy who would endorse your nomination. And then you go there, that is why they call you like a plenipotentiary, you know, extraordinary plenipotentiary. So you are representing the president. And it means also you can actually, you don't have to go through somebody. You should be able to speak directly to the president. And he trusts you so much that the other party, like with President Putin, if I go to speak to President Putin would accept what I'm telling him because it would be like it's President Barrow. So I was not there in my capacity as UDP, but mostly like representing all Gambians. And in that work, it has really, in fact, I just wrote this report, Mission to Moscow, which I shared with the online newspapers. It is also to motivate young people, especially girls and young women, to go into the diplomatic field. Because as I was explaining in that, in my research work as a scientist, for example, you start to cultivate a culture. Let's take like bacteria. If you are cultivating bacteria on a swamp, like a cleaning swamp, like a cleaning tablecloth in the kitchen, you want to cultivate bacteria, you put it on a Petri dish, you put it in, you know, in this fridge, warm fridge, you leave it for 24 hours, and then you start to see results. If you are doing higher research, it takes like years and years. For example, what is it called? Hepatitis C. Many years ago, it was discovered, but it was just recently that they were able to get the Nobel Prize. So it's like a lot of many years of labor, hard work, 24/7, working on a project. But as a diplomat, you can make a difference. I mean, working and you can see things happen within a shorter period of time. And my experience from Moscow, that is what it has taught me, that you would be able to change lives. You would be able to do things. And I was able to do that. And for me, it was just like overwhelming. What is it that I can bring now to UDP coming home? Maybe UDP would be able to gauge that. But I believe this year being 2021, our road to State House, an election year, I believe what I can do and what I can encourage others in UDP to do is we have to move to the interior of the country. The Gambia is not just coastal road. The Gambia is not just Serekunda, Brikama. Yes, the population, the highest number of the population is in the West Coast. But we have ordinary people, many people. I mean, those who are even in the West Coast, they left the interior. Nyomi, Fonyi, Nyamina, Badibu, Kiang, Fatoto, Wuli, Kantora, Sonkunda, to come to West Coast. So we have to go, and I think this should be even a UDP policy, government policy, that our youth, after finishing high education or secondary education, they should be sent to the interior. Let them go and see how our people are living. Because I'll tell you something, Kejau. Last weekend, I went to Farafenye. Farafenye is where I grew up, Chakubantang. And on my way, I started to, take some, videos. And from Kombo through Fonyi, we came, the videos are so beautiful, green, orange trees, mango trees and everything. Immediately we arrived at Brumen Bridge. We are going into Nyoro Jataba. It's like entering desert country. And it's dry. And then you see the huts, the thatch roofs. It's just like time stood still. And I was so moved. It's like our people, consecutive governments that have been here, that is the PPP government for 30 years. Yaya Jammeh came for 22 years, that is 52 years. President Barrow is here for 50 years, we are counting. We are talking about 57 years of our nationhood. And then people are living in thatch roofs. People are hungry. I mean, how can you, it's unforgivable. It cannot continue like this. So what I would want to bring and what I would encourage, and I believe this is also open to the party, is that we have to go and make our politics to the grassroots, take our politics to the people, go a tour through the country and not just going like, this is a country tour, no. Go and live in the countryside. Stay at the Bantaba. Yela Bentemoto, Abejaring, Sokuta. Yesanto Jube, Yelo Loluje. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you look at the sky, the stars are there, and this is a bench with printing. And then you are offered a bed, it's a straw bed, maybe even with a half bed sheet that is already torn. And then you eat nada koloboso. You see how they are suffering because, I mean, if we are eating beef and chicken and lamb on coastal, our people are hungry. The people are sick. People are dying. So I think that would be a UDP policy. And this is what I want to advocate for. We have to think about our people, those who are suffering, those who are the less privileged, the marginalized, and even looking at the recent, budget, whereby you give agriculture $400 million And then you have at the office of the president, 800 and something million, I mean, $150,000 per day food consumption. How can you explain that? So we have to go to the people and we have to show these pictures, talk to the people in our diverse languages. And once again, on the gender thing, I want to seize the occasion, this just crossed my mind, to just for a moment to congratulate the WTO, World Trade Organization General Secretary. The Nigerian got it, so congratulations to her. So this theme today is very wonderful. And I believe it is also an inspiring story for the young girls and for the young women. Her name is, what is it again? Nwoko or Iwiela? Ngozi. She was the finance minister, Ngozi. So congratulations to her. But in a nutshell, I mean, Kejau, this is very, very important. We have to take our politics to the grassroots. We have to go and live with our people to be able to understand what their problems are. That is the only way we can be able to have empathy, sympathy, because sometimes even if we come from there, we forget. You know, people who come from Mankamang before the president know how Mankamang was. So you would expect that we would have empathy for those people, and they have been suffering for time, colonial time, and 56 years counting, and time just stood still in the Gambia. So this is very important. For me, this is very important, and I hope the party would embrace it. So coming back is like foot to foot, going to the country, inshallah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jainaba. Yeah, I saw the videos and they are really, really interesting. And I think more people, I mean, more people should see the videos and know how our people are suffering. And you know, coming to the UDP was an encouragement to so many of us. You know, it was one of the reasons why some of us joined, because we thought if Jainaba can fit in, you know, I think I can also fit in UDP and try and make a change. So thank you very much for that. Thank you, Oley. I must say that I am so grateful for you, to you for choosing UDP. You know, and I'm sure it's not only me, the whole nation. I mean, the whole country, everybody who wants diversity, who wants unity in the country is grateful that, you know, not only that, you know, you bring your professionalism into the party, but also the diversity. But, you know, UDP is formed about 25 years ago, and we have seen that from inception, you know, it's made up of so many diverse people. The deputy party leader, Mr. Jallo, you know, was there for years, and we had Femi Peters and so many other people who are not Mandinkas. But you know, we have had so many skeptics saying that UDP is a Mandinka party. Do you agree with that statement? And how is your experience being there? And for women as well. I mean, this is two sides. We have the language as well as the gender bit. You know, men have dominated politics in the Gambia for years, and we are always encouraging women to come forward and join politics. You know, so I'm really grateful for you to come and take that lead. And you and Jainaba, and I hope you inspire other ladies to come. So, but yeah. So, what's your experience as a woman, as somebody who doesn't speak Mandinka that much? What is your experience of UDP? Is it a tribalist party? Is it a Mandinka-led party?
No, it isn't, Kejau. You know, I think number one, I had mentioned this in my interview with Pamudu Bojan. The Mandinko ethnicity, and we are playing with a time bomb that we don't even know the implications and the magnitude of, you know, talking about this ethnicity and tribalism. I don't think it has any place in our societies. This is something that Jamia brought, and this is something that political leaders use to divide. I don't think we should be putting too much emphasis on it. In UDP, I mean, like I said, I mean, we have the first female national president is a woman, and she's not Mandinka. The deputy party leader is a woman, and she's not Mandinka. The woman national president, the women's female president is a woman, and she's not Mandinka. Today, we have in our national executive, we have 15 women on the UDP National Executive out of 38. Now, on the UDP Constitution, we had targeted 30%. As at December, we are at 37% and counting. So we already have 15 women. In that, we also have 8 youth in the National Executive of UDP. Out of those 8 youth, we have 2 who are women. And that's excluding what I've counted on the 15 females. On top of that, people keep saying UDP is a party or the leadership are old or whatever. We only have 9 people who are above the age of 60 out of these 38. So between the ages of 35 and 60, we only have 9 who are from the older generation. All the rest are between the ages of 35 and 60. So sometimes I don't understand the conversations, but it is what it is. In terms of religion, there are Christians in the UDP. You have the Joey Goswells, you have the J. Pauls, you have the Auntie Mary Jones. We have the late Femi Peters and so on and so forth. So for me, I really don't like bringing that emphasis on tribalism. In our national executive, we have representatives from Manjago, Serer, Pol, Sarahule. And I don't think many people realize that. We have them not just as members of UDP, but within the national executive of the UDP. And I can bet any party that has that diverse group of that diversity on gender, on age, on youth representation, on ethnic representation in any political party in the Gambia, only the UDP. So it's painful when you're in there and you hear that being used as an ace card to play along that. Like I said, there are quite a number of Mandingos in UDP, and just like there are in any other party. The essence we need to look at is we need to prorate it. Mandingos are one of the largest tribes in this country. So naturally, in any party or in wherever they are, they will most likely form the majority. But most of the decision makers in the party are not Mandingos. I mean, for me, fine, you say I only have the surname, I'm not Mandingo. My whole family, my father's family are all from Kanikunda, but my mother was an Aku. My mother's father was a Catholic. Her mother was Aku. My mother's maternal grandmother is a Serer. My father's maternal grandmother is a Pol. My husband is a part of his family is Tukulor. So I think we should, in the year 2021, we should shy away from talking about these issues that add no value to us going forward. You go to Senegal, you don't hear anybody, you say, Yo Langa. Nobody will tell you, Man Serer la, or Man Jola la, or Man Pol la. The first thing they will tell you, Man Senegalese la. So why are we making an emphasis on something that is not there? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't try to fix something that doesn't exist. This was being used by people who had their own political agenda. That ship has sailed. And if we keep dragging onto something that is not there, I don't know. It's for me, I am a cocktail. I keep saying that. I am a cocktail because I am so diverse in the blend for me in my family that I don't want to talk about it. Because it is not an issue. And for me, it was never an issue growing up in my home, whether it was Muslim, Christian. I went to perform the Hajj in Mecca. My mom and dad went to Mecca together, and my dad went in and my mom stayed in Jeddah. My parents went to Rome and my dad stayed out and let my mom go in. So, there has always been a lot of religious tolerance in our societies. And we should not allow anybody to play those games with our consciences and with our minds. Our children do not deserve that. We are Gambia first. And I think the party leader's message on there's no Fula Gambian, there's no Mandingo Gambian, there's no Christian or Muslim Gambian. We are Gambian first, period. I think that's where the buck stops. Everybody has their cultures and we stick to it. And I think that for me, that's what I want to say about it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I think I hope that will lay so many concerns to rest. I mean, it was very timely that the party leader came out to address this because I think, frankly, it's getting out of hand. You know, people talk about it, insistently, and it doesn't exist at all, as you said. And I hope we wouldn't have to bring it up here, but we will bring the women part because women have concerns that they're not represented much. They are over 50% of our population, and we are still struggling 37%. And DOI is UDP is the biggest party that, is the largest proportion of women in any executive in any party. The rest, you have one in DOI and GDC, I think 2, and CA is 2 or 3. So you can see it's a big difference. But, we have to talk about
because not many women have to go, not many women want to go into politics, like I said, because of the stigma. So I think this is an education that we all need to learn from, all of us, those in politics and those outside of politics, because I think we need to be very open-minded in terms of how we perceive women in politics. I mean, when in UDP, when when the men were in prison, the women held the force. They held the fort. They were the ones that were really running the show. They were the ones that, set up the Kalama Revolution. They were the ones that were actually bold enough to challenge Yaya Jammeh. It wasn't the men. It was the youth, social media, diaspora, and the women. And that's the reality. So I think for us, we are doing well. And the party is really taking very, very bold and positive steps to ensure that we get more women, and we will, inshallah, in our government, when we go in come 2021, there will be an increased number of women because we have that on our policy segments as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is really, really reassuring. When we posted the flyers that you two are coming, we saw so many women, mainly gender activists, saying they're going to come and watch, and I hope they will come and join UDP because of what what your experience is and the encouragement that you're giving them. And I hope we have many women into parliament as well, because that's really, really important. With the new constitution not being not being accepted by the National Assembly, so it's a real challenge. Sister Jainaba, I know you are from. I don't want to beat about the tribal line anymore because I think it's really, really hard to talk about it. I mean, Gambians, we are very diverse, as Sister Oley said. Some of us we have Akus, we have Fullers, and I was speaking Fuller to you earlier today. From coming from Nyamina, and we speak Fuller, we speak Wolof, and we have Manjakos there, we have Jolas there, so it was never a question when we were growing up, we speak all those languages. And I think it's the same thing in Nyani as well, where and Fuladu, where the party leader is from. We have seen the... We have them all, and we have them... Oh, sorry. We probably just lost Oley, yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, we have seen the party leader, she's joining us again.
Right.
I hope it's not Nawek. I mean, Barrow's government targeting us, as they say.
No, no, I hope not. I just mentioned Mankamon.
Mankamon Kunda, yeah. So so I mean, what is your experience of before Oley joins us? Whilst Oley is trying to join us. Yeah, Oley, you are in now. Yeah, we thought the Nawek Barrow is playing politics with your Nawek. Yeah, we can hear you. And it's gone frozen.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
right.
can. Yes. It's frozen, Doc.
Okay. Was it from my end? Was it from my end or?
Yeah, it's from your end. Yeah, it looks like it's
not yet. Fingers crossed. Don't mention it.
Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead, Sister Oley. What were you saying about national? Or you want to pass to? Okay, Jainaba. What is your experience of? Yeah, go ahead, Oley. Yeah, Sister Oley, go ahead.
Sorry, come again.
I thought you were going to say something.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay, Sister Jay, what is your experience of diversity in UDP and the women? How can you encourage them to come join us? You know, you are from Farafenye originally, and but you've lived in Brikama, I understand, and you know, growing up in Farafenye, a diverse community. You know, what do you think that that UDP can do to encourage, and what is UDP doing now to encourage women, especially, and other language speakers to come join our party, and how can we improve on it?
Well, if you say about how UDP can encourage women, as Sister Oley just mentioned, I mean, 37% of the executive are women, and we are raising the bar high. That is a positive development. Yes. And secondly, I think, if I'm correct, we are the party that has a female youth wing. That tells you a lot. A female youth wing. That is something that should be inspiring even to other parties. When it comes to this cultural diversity and languages, what we should remember as Gambians, Sister Oley was also saying that, is like, there is no single person who can tell you, you know, me, my DNA is 100% Fulani, my DNA is 100% Serer, my DNA is 100% Mandinka. You know, if you go down the line, the generations, the intermarriages. I will give you an example from my family. Two of my aunts are married to Mandinkas. One was married to a Mandinka, then Fula, and one is presently married to a Mandinka. My cousins, we speak Mandinka. In our family, my grandmother, she's Fulani. My grandmother is born at Liman Street, Banjul. My mother was born at RVH. I was born at RVH. We speak Fula, but when you come to our home, for example, when my grandmother was alive, we speak Mandinka. It's like I speak Fula with my mom. Strangely, I cannot speak Mandinka with my mom or Wolof. But when we stay together, we speak Wolof, we speak Fula, we speak Mandinka with my grandmother. So most of my cousins, like my aunts, my uncles, 3 of my uncles, same mom and dad with my mom. 2 are married to Mandinkas, one from Pakalinding, Auntie Wonto, Buakinte's daughter, that is married to Uncle Jibi. And one of my uncles is married to Ajola. And my second uncle also married to a Mandinka from Kombo Gunjur, Jarasa Okunda. So my cousins are Mandinka, of course, others are Fulani. And my grandmother was raised by a Wolof woman, Yajola. She speaks Wolof. I grew up in a community of both Wolof in Chakubantang and and Wolofs and Mandinkas. So that is why I can speak Wolof, I can speak Mandinka, and of course, Fulo Moe Wole Susu. So actually, just allow me to just digress a little bit, speak a little Mandinka and come to a little Fulani. Nkamin fo jambi almin barabake kabringa program when you start. Nanyina fonun ko bi musol la ko mbina wale discourse la musol nim politiko aning kangol in UDP bi wolom program o nyinte en kabrin ba folo la fan ko ko nadia mo nyim fango abe kala fula kangol ti bari yajele nga start anatana ngakeni angale kangola ntata je so sanyin ka fo drom batu ngana murun nan nkamin fo ko nyin kanfo ka fo ko UDP mu manin ka folete o nyimu manin ko lete nyin kan patam fanso manya nakela. Parce que nga example o min di science and wolo min te kon te fangola family like na cousins nyol Usman Bojang nte bamani min denta bakilin fakilin aya susu aya di minna nenang aiso wonin jereba Bojang ne be num futo wala kombo brikam Cerno Umar Bojang Usman Bojang na cousin on lom first cousin so nte mbe balana munela maninka yato wo is part of me and atondi le mbaring keba jallo woni muso min be num futo wala jara sa o gunjurun kol Muda Aliou Dabo naltuloɓe ñinnama albalo nalembe sawo kunda mun tole jara sawo woni mbari nebe non futola So Ismaila nyol wuluta jele, Omar nyol wuluta je, nka maninka kango fo, mama muso fango yente tola minna. Ninda na suba kono birkama, nka maninka kango le fo. And natara fango ntolun se Swedish kango fo, ye Norwegian fo, ye Francais fo. Nyin kandol fanang is just like inyantale wo appreciate, and it's just beautiful. And nyinyatale fango, ye kango no, ye fansung kango no. So nyin kanko nyanta halandila le, ngam fanje first and foremost control mu Gambia no lete. Kango wo is just like natara no BBB mo wuluta no Russia le. Ntebe Russia no le fola. Natara Kejau wuluta Saudi Arabia, abe Arabic le fola. Nen sister Oley wuluta bi in Ecuador, abe Spanish le fola. So I wuluta dame wole ka itande en alana tante ma ko farafenye surwal bijele maninkol bije fulol bije nka fula kango moy wala susu bari sa nyin kangol befo bari nga nyina kangol la ngam fanje first and foremost control mu Gambia non lete awa Kejau accu hakke o kalan o seda mi halda e musidal fulbe ben on jarama boy musidbe en salmina mo kala inde mum e yettode mum ko min Jainaba Ba hande arno e sister Oley Dibba Wadda arno hande Kejau wanno men invite men aru men hala fi UDP si on andi hikka woni election 2021 meden faala change gouvernement wondo do on pati amen ono UDP toujours ana wa yimbe ben ko halata be hulbina wanoni fulbe ben be inna idon andi goddum ayi Ousseynou Dabo nyande o laami onon fo on paaka e hoton Guinée ha pari fulbe Gambia ben kadi hara o ala haaju e mon kono ɗum ɗon ko fiitun ko haala ka annduɗa gonga ala hen ɓayi si on daari like even Ousseynou Dabo lawyer Ousseynou Dabo gila o woni ka laamu ko golle ton kon hay fus hollatama wondema o añu fulɓe ala ton Ousseynou Dabo tigi mo yehi ka family makko min goɗɗo haalanilan ɗum wo ben makko o heɓi debbo rewɓe ɗiɗo fulɓe so on ko honno on añirta fulɓe komi toroto on ko foto ɗon darude hikkay o election arɗo kala inni on wondema ayi o ko ceɗɗoni ma UDP ko seɓɓe ta on jaɓu ko daroton ene hande Ousseynou Dabo si o laamike ko honɗum o addanta men ko honɗum o waɗanta men ko honɗum o watta ko annduɗa hara gurdam amen waway moƴƴude gurdam ɓiɓɓe amen waway moƴƴude honno addanta en cellal honno addanta en gandal ko ɗum ɗon woni ko annduɗa ɓe yimɓe wonɓe ɓen ka dowrito hara ko remoɓe ko honno ɓe wawete wallede joni ni lan haldude ɗo e Kejau mi innimo enen hande heccite hanki ɗo waɗɗen independence ɗum woni duuɓi 50 e duuɓi 7 en heɓi independence kono hande mo yehi ñanga bantan a taway wondema goɗɗo si mbottike hara o hirtake hande sa yehi cooya goɗɗo no ton hande wonno ɓeygu makko no reedi himo miijori ngar ɓural e Allah o debbo an ko honno jibinta par ce que Gambia joni ko woni ɗo jibingol ko mayde reeduɗo kala no miiji honno mi jibinirta yawtiɗo ndaare bagasiji ɗin no seeriri hankila jenti audio goɗɗo debbo on no haala wo tentulu ko $30 jari kobo ko andunoɗa jamanu yawtuno ɓeynate 2 ɓuure hande mbuuɗi 50 yaltinta ma mbuuɗi 100 hande sa yehi semaine ɓe innima ko ɗum ɗo jarata janngo sa ari hara ɓe waɗi ɗum double ko honɗum woni ɗum ɓay hay price control woni ala ka saare nen a sikkay laamu ala ɗo so ko yaari noon UDP party on ɓay hikka woni élection minen komin faala manifesto amin on min adday min yeeya on manifesto amin on min haalana on hande ko fii rewɓe min woni haalude e fii konngol e fii haalaji o ko ɗum ɗo oɗo ko pullo ma oɗo ko jolfo ma ko serere e nder UDP kono si Allah jaɓi min heɓoya ɗo programme mo annduɗa min addanay on manifesto amin on min haalana on goto go'o ɗiɗi tati nayi joyi jeego jeeɗɗi UDP si woni indi government ko ɗum ɗo min watta tilam felliti watti felliti mo kala ko faaletaɗa ko yaru yeeso hay goto faaletake tegaɗon laamu pour yara ɓaawo aw min torike on ɓeɗen faala jento ɗon programme on si tawi hande fof gasani si Allah jaɓi min artoyay min watta e mon oɗo programme te kadi min aroyay haka galle wona ɗo tum min aroyay haka galleji min jokka on inchallahu rabbi. Kejau, thank you so much. That was what I was trying to, just sum up in Fulani. And as we all agreed, we just have to forget about that part of it, like I am Fula, I am Mandinka, we are Gambians, Gambia comes first. And we made history. in 2016, when we forgot about who is Mandinka, who is Wolof, who is Full, who is Jola even, as we know, APRC is very much connected with Fonyi and Jolas. But I believe some Jolas also just volunteered and said, you know what, Gambia comes first. And we made history, something unprecedented. So I believe this year too, we can do that. Let us just forget about, who is this, who is that, and concentrate on the issues. Which party is going to address your needs? Which party is going to best serve your needs? I think that is what an informed electorate should be looking after. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Jarama Buya, Jarama sister. As you said, yeah, that was really important that we put that point across, and I hope all the concerns have been laid to rest now, and we can move on and build our country together of diverse people. Almost all of us here, we have said, me and my family, half of my family are Fullers. I grew up in an Aku home. Even my uncles, they grew up in an Aku home. So and my first cousins are some of them are Akus. They are Fullers. They are all tribes, Jolas, Manjakos. So I think we have to move on. And the important point is that we are encouraging our women folk to come and join politics. I think that's really, really important. And that one, we will make it a theme and make sure that it continues so that, we give them a voice, because they are half of our population, and most of them in the provinces, they are the breadwinners there. Sister Oley, coming to you, we are halfway through, so and we have about halfway questions, so we are doing a great job. Thank you, ladies. Since you joined United Democratic Party, it might be a coincidence. We've seen so much changes. We've seen, I think it's probably coincidence of time, but we've seen so much policies, coming out, and the organization of the Congress was fantastic. And we have seen so many other people joining who are well educated, who are well experienced, well traveled. What is appealing about the leadership in the United Democratic Party? And and I hope that will encourage more people to come and join. Men as well, because I think we need all Gambians in. But what is appealing about the leadership in the United Democratic Party, and what can we tell the Gambians about that leadership that is so appealing to you, if it is?
Thank you very much, Kejau. Do you want me to speak in English or in Wolof? Which one is better? Can the audience let us know?
Yeah, whichever you prefer. I prefer English. Because
okay, all right. So I think Kejau, sometimes it's not just about the academic credentials. It's not just about the international exposure. It's about the humanity of the person, of the individual. You can have everything that you want if you do not have a leader who has certain qualities of humility, of integrity, of empathy, of patience, that you can trust, certain leadership qualities, then you don't have a leader. So I think it's important to say that, yes, while it's important to have all those academic background, I think what we need in this country, and with the challenges that we have been facing the past 24 years, what we need is a uniter. What we need is somebody who can embrace everybody, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Somebody who can, who can have an appreciation of our strengths, our weaknesses, and our diversity. And I think that's what the leadership in UDP is. There's been a lot of talk about him and the age and all of that. We can say the same with all the other political parties. But I think for me, one of the biggest attraction on the party leader's side is the fact that I found him to be very humble, very open. I found him to be, somebody that has qualities of empathy, somebody I can trust. So those are some of the qualities that we look for in a leader. Also the vision and the openness of allowing anybody and everybody that has an idea to put it on the table. So if you come and say, I think we should do this and that, he will allow you to do it or allow you to get on with it. But you will have to also, get on with it and not expect to be put behind the back to do things, but be matured enough to take that initiative and do it yourself. So for me, those were some of the attractions. I also found the women at the leadership level to be very, very, very courageous. Very courageous. These are women who are, jigen du mun góor, all of them, without exception. I can start from Auntie Sukainaka and go all the way down to Rohi Malik Lo. These are jigen yu mun góor, and they are powerhouses. And I think, to be very honest, the women are the assets in the UDP on all fronts. I don't think that the UDP, and maybe the men would be commenting and getting angry, but I do not think that the UDP would really be where it is today had it not been for the women who stood by the UDP through thick and thin. And in all honesty, the loyalty. One thing I can say about women, when they are loyal to something that they believe in, it doesn't matter whether the cows come home, they stick to it. And so you see less of women ping-ponging in different parties, jumping all over the place. The women stay and believe in it. And the party leader has always expressed his appreciation for the women that stood behind him, that supported him. President Barrow, it was the same. He was always enveloped by two strong women who stood behind him, who stood beside him. The women who challenged Yaya Jammeh, it was Auntie Yam who would stand there and be pointing and speaking to Yaya Jammeh. So I think, I don't think we should be even looking at women in terms of numbers within the party. I think we should be looking at the value added and the quality. We can have, the 15 women at the national executive level, and that's good enough. So it's what those women bring and the value they add to, to pushing the leadership vision that is more fundamental than just having women for the sake of ticking the boxes. At the moment, we have a lot of young women. We have our Tambedus, the Lala Tourays, we have the Mariama Sibos. There are a lot of young women who are climbing up this ladder, and they are strategic and very influential. So I think for me, that leadership that is open and receptive to change as it comes, I think that's what every government, every country, every individual needs. So those are some of the qualities for me that I found very attractive with the UDP party leader.
Yeah, absolutely. I will second those that comment. I found the same thing, and when I joined newly, I could remember Uncle Usenu. When I was talking to Dibba, he was beside him, and I could hear him, welcoming, and very, very welcoming. And since then, I had some little bit problems with some diasporians who thought, I had some little bit problems with them when I was in Doi, a little bit push and pull. But the party leadership was so welcoming.
Absolutely.
And that will ever remain.
And that's what we need more than anything else. That's absolutely what we need more than the money, more than whatever it is. We need a human being to support the children of this country.
Absolutely. And being from the fact that we came from a dictatorship, that is really, really refreshing, and we should be grateful to God and for that. Jainaba, Sister Jainaba, what did you find from the leadership? What is your take on that? I know when you were joining, it was with the NPP leadership was also part of the UDP leadership, but you can see the big difference. I mean, it's like day and night between what we have in other parties like NPP and UDP. What is your experience?
There's no comparison. Kejau. I just wanted to say there is no comparison. So no way.
Yes, I think Sister Oley summed it so beautifully. She did it so well, how she presented it, and I agree with her point. It's the same. For me, I believe integrity in a person is priceless. You cannot put a price tag on it. And the leadership in UDP, in the executive, the party leader, he has integrity. Sister Oley talked about loyalty. Loyalty is very important. And the executive, they have been loyal to the party leader. Sister Oley talked about the women, people like Ajiyam Seka, the Kalama Revolution. And anywhere in the world where you have a successful change, whether it is during the independence struggles or whether it is like trying to overthrow a dictator, women must come and fully participate. We have seen that in Latin America. We have seen that in the independence struggles in Africa. Women are crucial for our liberation, for our moving forward. And statistics will also show you the importance of women in pivotal positions in government, in administration, even in business, in the economy. When it comes to the UDP, that which is appealing, as I said, the integrity is number one. The welcoming is like you get overwhelmed because you are embraced. I remember when I was nominated as ambassador, and I was ambassador designate, I came to Banjul when my agreement was ready, and before moving to Moscow. Just when I arrived, I met people like Ajiyam, and immediately this lady, she organized a meeting of all the women at the Banjul branch UDP office. And the women came en masse. Aja Sukaina Ka was there, Aja Yamunda Uyabo. It was the first time I met Fatou Kamara and Nogoy. That day they came also. Massive number of women. The whole place was fully packed. And as Sister Oley said, when it was very hard, when the struggle was very hard, it was these same women who actually had the flag, you know, the UDP flag flying high. When I think the smartness even of our party leader, if you could remember when Solo Sandeng was murdered, and that press release on that fateful day, when lawyer Ousainou Darboe came out and said, Natara Solo Sefa, there is nothing that is going to keep us back. And we are going to demand, if he is dead, give us his body. If he is alive, you have to release him. When he said that, he said, we, the executive, the leadership, we are going. And if it is bullets, let it rain on us. And then the deputies would stay. They went, they were arrested, they were incarcerated, they were hurt, blood was flowing. I could even remember the honorable lawyer, he had stitches, blood was flowing in that pickup. And when they were incarcerated, it was these women who took up the baton, people like Ajiyam Seka. She was the Deputy Secretary General, Deputy Party Leader. I mean, imagine facing Yaya Jammeh at that time. People are fearing for their life. People are scared. You don't want to be associated. Even you are sitting in the diaspora. You are in your comfy home. You don't want your name to be mentioned with UDP. But here is a woman who is so fierce. And with her, she has all the orders. And not just them, like in the executive, but the grassroots, the UDP women grassroots. I'm talking about the Jola Bajing. I'm talking about the Abi Bangura, councillor in Banjulunding. You know, the people at the grassroots, women, you know, ordinary women who would buy the ashobis, who would be there when it is a court case, they would come en masse, ready for battle, ready to give their life. So that was like so powerful. And for me, it was like so reassuring that actually, I mean, this is the right party for me. And one of the main decisions also why the leadership is appealing to me is because I believe sincerely in my heart, I want to share this with the Gambian people, that the party has evolved progressively forward I mean, from being this party, like they would accuse or they would just label our party leader, he is so scared. He's a scared person. You know, the party that has evolved through the years is the UDP. This is the party whose leader, you know, after one of the elections, they said, you know, he went to the Senegalese embassy, but he's a law-abiding person. They always fail to realize that he has the law, he read the law, he doesn't want to break the law. He doesn't want to be tried and found wanting. And after all of that, the defining moment came at Fast Njaga Choy, mashallah, the standoff. That day, everybody was following. It was like Gambians in the diaspora and Gambians in Gambia, we held our breath because they came to Fast Njaga Choy. There was not a permit. They were saying, you are not moving. And lawyer Usainu Dabo, this man who you say is a coward, he's afraid. He stood up, he said, Ibela Carola, Benna Carola, Manta Hai Tepere. Still, I can, that is echoing. Manta Hai Tepere. I said, that is Fulani Tepere Kokoide. And he said it with conviction. And that was, I think, where Yaya Jammeh's wings were broken, because it was like defiance, epitomized in this man standing up and saying, enough is enough. I am ready. We are ready to give their life. So that passion, I mean, that bravery, sometimes people would say, you know, yeah, you cannot compare him to Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela went that, but what they fail to realize is people make history, not out of circumstances of their own choosing, but we should embrace that which he did is unprecedented. And that is when we come back to the Solo Sandeng case, the decision to decide to move forward, even if it meant, I mean, losing their life. It has not happened. When they went out, even people were saying, okay, others would come at the court, other parties, affiliates would come, they would join, people would demonstrate. Nobody demonstrated. It is still the UDP that was, you know, going head on. So sometimes it's like selective amnesia. People want to remember what they want to remember and try to push aside what they don't want to. But for me, I believe UDP is that party, because politics is also numbers. I believe we have the numbers. I believe we have educated people. I believe we have a great leadership. But most importantly, I believe we have the masses. Ordinary Gambians struggling day to day, who would not want you to pay them a dime for them to attend a rally, who would not want you to bring them rights because you want them to vote for you, who love this country dearly, who want change for this country, who love their party and their party leadership. And what people tend to forget is that loyalty is like love. You cannot buy it. It's in the heart of people. So if people are loyal to somebody and you say you want to come and buy that loyalty, I mean, you can try, and of course you will get some people with you. But those with real integrity, true integrity, would never follow you. And those are the ones who have the country at heart. So for me, it is a joy, it's a pleasure to be in a party that has its heart resonating with the soul of the Gambian people. That is UDP. So that is what I have to say on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks a lot, ladies. That was a difficult question, I must say, because it's like,
no.
you know, but yeah, I mean, it's obvious that the integrity and the leadership of in the UDP is very commendable. It is, you know, we have seen recently, you know, people were talking about UDP organizing rallies, and Uncle Usainu Dabo came out to say, listen, we're going to cancel our you know, the fundraising, and, you know, we urge the government to do the right thing right now and not wait. I mean, I think that is what government should be doing. So we are always, our leadership is already acting as government, and they have done that for 22 years. You know, some people might say that they didn't go out to, you know, to burn the country down, as the sister was saying, but you know, we are grateful that we had such strong people, ladies, especially in UDP, you know, very, very strong ladies. When the men were hiding under the beds, you know, as we had during the commission, you know, these ladies were coming out with their calamas and their calabashes. You know, it's really, 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 really refreshing. I mean, I think they rescued the country, you know, and the first Jaga Choi stand, I think that's when the Jammeh's myth was broken. That, you know, some people, you know, the party leader came out and said, we're not moving anywhere, we don't have permits, we're not carrying, you know, any loudspeakers, but we're not going anywhere. Go get us a permit, or we are going to remain here. I think that is when, you know, the country itself started realizing that, listen, Jammeh is not God, you know, if these people can stand up to him, the whole nation can. Yes, so to the youth, we have talked about women, we've talked about other languages, and Sister Oley has started talking about the youth. You know, and I understand our youths are about 60% of the population in the Gambia. So it's a real concern. We have seen our youths taking the back way into the sea, and you know, frankly, I'm worried that if people go home, if I go home now and get retired, my pension will probably not be paid, because, you know, all the youths are going to Europe and they're staying in the camps, and they don't have jobs, they don't have skills, you know. So it's a big concern that you know, the unemployment in the Gambia is so high. You know, the youths they have nowhere to go. But, you know, we have seen from the Congress, you know, these few speeches that are made, and the policies that are coming out, that the UDP has a great program for youths, you know, youth skills centers, youth employment, entrepreneurship. So, Sister Oley, what do you think the UDP's priorities are on youth involvement in not only in governance, but also the skills training, the employment, the entrepreneurship? You know, how can we rescue our future of the Gambia? Sorry, we can't hear you. Yeah, okay. All right, maybe let me try here.
Okay, like I said, can you hear me now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had put myself on mute, sorry. I think UDP has, you know, we've now laid out our 5-point agenda, but it's 5+. And the number one priority is youth employment and empowerment scheme. And that program that we have has a lot of areas that we need to look at. You know, yesterday when I was talking in the previous platform, I was talking about our youths coming back home. There is no mechanism. Youths are being deported from Europe. There is no mechanism of integration for these young people coming back home. They just let them loose in there. They don't have any program or plans for them. What we will be looking at, and I don't want to go into details on until the manifesto is ready now, but once it's been launched, you know, I think one of the key areas that we will be looking at is creating that conducive environment for them, and setting that right framework, and linking them with the private sector. That is very, very key. We will also be looking at establishing at least 10 specialized skill centers across the country to enhance their skills and provide training of trainers, and especially in the areas of tech, of sports and entrepreneurship. We want to establish a youth entrepreneurship fund. You know, one of the areas we'll be looking at is to make sure that at least 25% of contracts, government contracts, go to youth. We want to look at making sure that a mandatory youth service scheme. Sister Jainaba was talking about, you know, our youths, we need to make sure that they go to the communities and engage. So that mandatory youth scheme would embrace them going into the community, staying there, working, and growing up as ethical leaders, both in entrepreneurship, in political leadership, in community leadership, at all levels. We want to be able to support them to encourage them in agriculture investments. We see that is the viable place to go, and agriculture is a very strong component of the UDP. We also want to look at you know, different areas of how we support the youths. We want to create a mass of employers So a lot of the youths are always looking for employment, and we want to be able to start strengthening them. So if you look at our education policy and our youth employment policy, on the education policy, one area is ensuring that entrepreneurship skills are going to be part of the curriculum from a very, very early age, so that we start building that mindset and they grow with it. On the other hand, we will also be helping to tap into the skill strengths that they have. I keep saying that not everybody is cut out for the classroom. You know, we keep pushing and pushing as if we're just pushing a herd of cattle through examinations, getting them ready for exams. They go, some fail, some pass, and they're not able to get jobs. So I think what we would be doing as a UDP government is to harness the strengths and the skill sets of the different youths and help work with the private sector to help set them up. The industrial zones and the skills zone centers that we have will also be focusing on supporting the youth. So there's a lot of work that we will be doing, particularly for the youth, because it's fundamental. You know, we've been, for as long as I can remember in my work, because I've been working with youths and women for a very, very long time, there is just so much lip service on, you know, we are doing this for the youths, we are working for the youths, we are this for the youths. You know, it's always talking on behalf of the youths rather than talking with them, engaging with them, and putting them up there. The other day, I gave the example of this young guy, what was his name? One Pack. And after that blunder he made on his PR, and how he came out and was saying, you know, I have been to prison 8 times. Really? Even I, yes. And he said, even I didn't like myself. So coming out of prison and in and out of prison, he had to work on himself to go into entertainment business and sing. And he, you know, he had to work on his self to be where he is today. There was no mechanism to help this young man. And he was saying, and I was watching him and I could feel his cry for help. And there's so many of them out there. There's so many of them that are being sent back home, dumped here and left here. And, you know, we have this whole drug scandals and arms scandal, you know, then bringing in the issue of tribalism. I don't think we know the amount of fire we are playing with. And, you know, and so for us, this is key because they can actually make or break this country. So if we don't create conducive environment and work with them and help and build and support them, they can actually be more of a liability than an asset. And they are an asset because I think they know what they want. They have, I keep saying they have agency. We need to nurture where their strengths are and we need to work with them. You know, I keep also arguing that they are not the future. They are the present. They are here. We cannot be planning the future of the youths as if they don't exist today. They need to be part of that design on the drawing board moving forward, because tomorrow they will be the ones that will be held accountable from their own younger generations on what they have done. Some of us have failed. We have failed our children. Some of our parents have failed us, you know, and I think we have an opportunity to take stock, take a step back and ask, where did we go wrong? What did we do? And how can we make amends to make sure that this huge demography that we have, that they are part and parcel of where we are going and how we flow. In the UDP, a lot of the discussions that we're having, a lot of the plans and ideas, I cannot tell you how many ideas these young people come to me and tell me that they have. All they need is that little nurturing to be able to get on with it. Some of these, the policies that we have on the youth employment scheme, they designed it. On the education scheme, they told us what they want. And we put it there and you have dialogue with them. And that's all they need. They don't need us to handhold them. They just need us to create that space for them. And that's where we're going wrong. We need to stop talking about them as if they are objects and start talking with them and together with them work together. So we have quite a number of areas that we will be working on, especially, but it cuts across the UDP's 5-point agenda. One, which is the number one, which is youth empowerment and an entrepreneurship scheme. The second one, which is skills, education, skills and training. And the third, which is nutrition, agriculture and food security. The fourth, which is public health security and social protection. Especially we were talking about women. A lot of areas that there'll be zero tolerance on violence against women. It's in our policies. We will unapologetically target improving the welfare of women's lives and their livelihoods. They form the majority and backbone of our SMEs and our MSMEs. We will be giving priority to women, especially on their reproductive health and rights, especially on maternal mortality. We will be providing, and these are not, we are not making just promises. These are things that we will be working on. We will be providing free health services to every single Gambian woman that is pregnant and lactating, and also for the elderly that is over the age of 65, and also for the people with disabilities. These are areas that we will be working on. We will be putting on mechanisms that will encourage women to engage in political participation, because we have seen the challenges that women face coming in and, you know, having a key role in the arena. There will be an emphasis on women's entrepreneurship. Like I said, the informal sector is inundated with women. They're the ones that really control the economy because of the informal sector that they have. There will be non-conformity on and zero tolerance on girls' education. Every single child will have to go to school, every girl child. And we will also have a policy for re-entry for pregnant girls so that they can go back to school. We have been marginalizing these young women and young men for too long, and we have been using them as baits. And they know it. So we cannot play games and we cannot be talking to them as if we are making, they know. So I think the honest thing to do now is to take an honest position, and this is what the UDP will do, because like I said, they are the bread and butter of the United Democratic Party, the women and the youths, and they will form the basis. We will ensure that 25% or 30% will also be into getting them to start preparing them to become members of parliament, to become, to get into cabinet offices as well. So a lot of things that we've worked on, and we've worked with the youths themselves, and we will continue to engage with them. I hope that gives a sort of synopsis of what we will be doing and how we plan to engage with the youth. There's a lot, and obviously there's no magic bullet on how to address it, but I think they will have to be part of the design and part of the implementation, the monitoring, and hold us accountable. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a very comprehensive summary of what UDP has for our youths, and you know, bearing in mind that they are 60% and they're in such a dire situation, it is really hopeful. I'm really hopeful that come next year, I hope we won't wait until we won't take. We won't wait for 2022 to take that advantage. And I hope the youth will come out in large numbers to vote for UDP, because I haven't had any other party with any policy about youths or as comprehensive as this one. So I think this is a good opportunity to give chance to UDP so that they can deliver, because otherwise if the situation continues like this, it is really worrying. We have so many youths coming back. Still, the government is going to Western countries, signing with agreement with them to bring them back, and without any plans at all. No plans at all. Nothing. They've been there for 4 years. Apart from helping 1 or 2, 3 people there. I think this is really comprehensive, and this is really important. I hope you can consider some of us in the diaspora. We are ready to volunteer our service so that we can get this, off the ground and as quickly as possible.
Absolutely,
this is really important. Yeah, and I hope Sister Jay will also continue to inspire our youth so that they can get into science and technology, because I think that's a way forward. Sister Jay, I mean, we have agriculture as Sister Oley said, that is really that has so much potential. I must also say science and technology, IT skills, 24th century skills is what our country needs probably right now, so that we can push our youths into being what will you advise, Sister Jay, to the youths and about their engagement with UDP, because as Sister Oley said, it's not going to be a one-way conversation. We're not going to talk to them. We're not going to make plans for them. We're going to make plans with them. So what will you advise them, and how do you think they should take that opportunity?
Thank you so much. The executive has spoken. Sister Oley did a comprehensive, and I think it is so important. Those who are following the program, listening, hearing the points that Sister Oley has presented, it's just incredible. It's so beautiful, and it shows the signature of a party, an opposition party, a government in waiting, ready, to saddle the reins of power and deliver to the people. The youths of any country, if you look at Africa's population pyramid, we are different from Europe. Europe, they have a huge, old people on top, and then a small percentage of young people. This is as a reflection of the advanced development of European society, American society, countries that have advanced, that you have both men and women in the workforce. And women, by choice, decide, I am not going to stay home to deliver babies. I am going to be in the workforce. I'm going to be a professional and contribute my quota to the development of my country, to my development as a human being. And because of that, this one child, two child, it has resulted in a population that is very old and a huge base on the top, and then small, population of youths at the bottom. So these youths are trying to hold this big population, and that is Europe's problem, and that is why they even need refugees. They're just trying to resist, but they need refugees. When it comes to Africa and our specific situation, the Gambia, it is the other way around. Our population base is huge, as we confirmed here. 60% of our population, they are youth. So what has happened? What has happened is that successive governments have failed the youths. I believe, I agree with Sister Oley when she says, our parents have failed us and we have failed our children. But a huge chunk of that responsibility is the governments that we had in place who never bothered. And yes, you can say not everybody is you have to sit in a class and do, calculus and stuff. No. During Jawara's time, we used to have even vocational training. I remember in Farafenni, there is a vocational training center. People who are from junior secondary school or who have, primary 6, they would go and do vocational training center. This is the difference between us and Senegal also. In Senegal, not everybody is planning to go to university. Or even if they plan it, if it doesn't work, there is a plan B for them by their government that you can go. That's why they are good fitters, welders, fishermen, carpenters, you name it, artisans, you name it, they have the profession. They even have choreography schools. Like you want to do music, you have the studios, you go and do choreography, you produce an album that is awesome. But for us in the Gambia, our governments have failed the people, not only the people, but the youth. Complete population have been failed. And that is the role of the UDP to come and address those situations. Even if you look at just recently, I heard, Gambia government has given oil rights, drilling rights to far, limited. You know, before they tried to drill, there was nothing, and then now they are drilling. But in that contract, not just about the percentage that is coming to Gambia for our benefit, for our economy, but is there a component, an education component in that far limited project, whereby as a responsible government, you tell these people who are coming to tap our natural resources, even if we are not in partnership, you tell them, my young people must have an education component in this. What does that mean? It's simple. We have smart young people who are, you know, science-based. You go and train them, you know, let them go and learn about, you know, geology, oil exploration, that when they come back, these are our own people, we would even be able to gauge how much oil is being drilled per day. Ghana had a similar situation. They didn't even know how much was drilled. Oil was going, they didn't know. Did it benefit Ghanaians? Well, we can go and ask. But I believe this should be a priority of a government, that the natural resources we have, if we are bringing in foreigners to tap those resources, there should be an education component. So a UDP government putting emphasis even on education, as we are saying, STEM. STEM is very important. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. It's very, very important, because we all cannot be lawyers. We all cannot be auditors. We all cannot be, you know, literature teachers. I mean, it's beautiful. I love Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. I did literature even in high school. I like to quote Shakespeare. Age cannot wither her, no custom stale her infinite variety. Other women cloy the appetites they feed, but she makes hungry where most she's satisfied. This is Antony and Cleopatra. I'm sure Lucy Tomasi, Mariam Tomasi is laughing somewhere. We love the literature, Chaucer, Hamlet, you know, the drama, you know, we have that, we love it. But only that cannot take a country who wants to reinvent itself. It has to be, we have to put emphasis on science. And to the young people, I am appealing, this year is important. You not just you go by the, you know, okay, this is what everybody is saying, but I want you to sit back and reflect. What is your interest? Sister Oley mentioned here that some of the drafts, or what we were talking about, even part of the manifesto, or what is being thought in the UDP, the youths we are part of it, you know, bringing in their contribution. This year is important that as youth, if you want your destiny to change, if you want a brighter future, it's important you come and join the UDP, and not only join the UDP, vote for the UDP, because that is your ticket in not going to brave the Sahara Desert, being sold in Libya, dying in the Mediterranean, or ending up in Greece, being washed ashore, being refused, like they reject us. In Europe, it's like, no, we cannot accept you anymore. We are the continent that has suffered so many years, you know, so many calamities. Like you talk about slavery, you talk about colonialism, you talk about neo-colonialism, you talk about now we are actually independent, yet this independence and all our natural resources cannot reflect lifting up our people from poverty. One Cameroonian used to say, Pande Tumaza, he says, Africa is a rich continent with poor people. And why? Because our leaders have never taken up the hard work, the responsibility it means to be able to help our people in general and our youth specifically. We have this expensive appetite, even as Gambians, you know, officials, government officials, you know, people who are working in businesses and everything. I want my Prado. I want my children to go to private school. I want to own a house. In fact, you will go and grab land. You will go and fight with somebody over land. You will go and bribe somebody over land because you want to build this bungalow for you and your family. But do you think about the cost? I mean, youths, as Sister Oley is saying, all these youths who are here, this young one part going to prison, how many times, coming back. The only thing he needed was just like a small lifeline, help me. But the government is not thinking, successive governments, it's not just right now, but successive governments have not put the youth as a priority, and that has to change. So UDP is your ticket to that future that you want. But you have to be part of reinventing your future yourself. You cannot sit back as the youth and say, okay, in fact, my vote doesn't count. Anyway, UDP will win. Anyway, NPP, Barrow has given so much money, he will pay, he will win. You cannot say, okay, GDC, Mama Kande has such a following, I don't even have to vote. You have to vote because it's your right. It's your right and it's your signature to define what your future should be like. And not just your future, your children, your grandchildren, as I was saying earlier. So my appeal is, not everybody, as Sister Oley rightly said, would go to college, would go to university, but there are alternatives that you can have a decent living. You can have a decent life. You can have a job. You can have a training that would give you your livelihood, that you don't have to beg. And we have to, the youth also, you know, taking responsibility. You don't have to be saying, I want to wait for remittances from Europe, from Scandinavia, from America. You sit down and be parena, ataya. You know, if they say go fishing, as Jame tried to say, okay, he bought fishing trolleys and, you know, fishing boats and everything, it failed. Why? Because those people, young people, were not even trained how to fish. How can you just bring those things and say, okay, go and fish? They don't know. So a responsible government, and this is where UDP comes in, with what Sister Oley has presented us, and this is from the executive, and this is like in our manifesto, which we are working on, and which is going to be sold to the Gambian people when it is ready. I believe UDP is the salvation of the country and the youth. And it's important you come, you vote, and you participate. You bring, what is it that you want? If the government says, this is the plan we have for you, you can say, this is what I want for myself, and it will be, we work on it. I was in Ghana, and I was so impressed. This was in 2016 at the Socialist International meeting, representing UDP there. And we met this young, that was in Mahama's government, a young lady. She was so young. She was the Minister of, I think, Culture. And she was very, very young, but articulate. And it's just inspiring listening to her, because you are the generation of technology. So that should not go to waste. Any government worth its salt must invest in the youth. And I believe UDP has that ready and at your doorstep. So we want you to come, we want you to vote, but just sit down a little bit and ponder, how do you want your future to be? Would you like to have this country like we all envisage, that you don't have to go to Europe? If you have to go to Europe, it's like you are going there as a tourist. You go to Japan as a tourist and come back. You go to Singapore as a tourist and come back, because home is the best. But if home is neglected, if home is not taken care of, and you, as Sister Oley rightly said, you are not even the future, you are the present. If that is wasted, I mean, this country doesn't have a future. So my appeal is, all of you, education is crucial, education is very important, but the training is very, very important. Kejau ya jangan nyimbe ke angale kamoto. Kejau wants to speak English. Nyangale nga diamu pandika kamoto, diamu fula kamoto. But I think we have to come back and make another program where we would just be speaking local languages, not English. But this is what I have for the young people. I mean, the future is yours. They normally say future in our hands. And it is literally, it is possible to have the future in your hands. And that is like not sitting at the back and saying, okay, the government will do everything for me. Yes, the government is responsible, they should do, but you should come and bring your plans. This is what we want. This is how we see the future. So a UDP government is a responsible government. These issues will be tackled, these issues will be addressed. It is not going to be easy. Let me say this, it's very important. It is not going to be easy, because we are, when we come to power, when a UDP government come to govern, it is not going to be easy, because it has been 57 years of stagnation. Nothing actually, if it happens, it's like you can just count it. There is a lot more that could be done. So it will not be easy, but I believe with you, the youths, if you buckle up, we work together, I believe you can take this country to higher heights, and we can make this country of ours a paradise on earth, because it's just 2 million people. It is just like any city in Europe, a city. Our whole country is like a city in Europe. And if they can make it work, It can work here. I was making an example the other day, talking to the UDP Forum Sweden, talking about Sweden, and when they wanted to pull their people out of poverty, the Social Democrats, they created the Folkhemmet. This Folkhemmet is like creating decent housing for the population. Everybody is their human right to have a decent housing. And every child is going to school. It's not even just girls, both boys and girls. You have to go to school, because education, the knowledge is what we want to reinvent the future. So I encourage you all. We love you dearly. We love you dearly. But you have to come and, you know, make your future together. And you have to choose that party that is there to reflect your interests, to work for your interests, and make the future bright for you. This is what I have to say, Kejau.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Sister Jay. That's a very powerful appeal, and I hope the youth will listen to you, because the future is in their hands, and you know they have to decide you know, whether they're going to continue as it is or choose a different path. You know, and it's just few months to go now. It's about time. If they don't have voters card, they should go out and take responsibility and go out and grab voters card, and not say that the government in power is always going to win. No, you know, they should take, you know, different youth groups should come out and take this initiative and choose the party that is going to deliver, you know, things for them, and UDP can definitely do that. Yeah, I think we have 10 minutes now. I still have so many questions, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to keep my promise and just give you the last word. I know we have so many questions here. Some people are saying we should speak our local languages next time, but we have to choose this because we have so many things to say, and you know, and the fact that we cannot afford to miss any language here, you know. So that's why we've chosen our lingua franca, our common language, English, and hopefully we will take the time, you know, when we people are not here, you know, next week, and we try to explain to our other listeners what the conversation is. But I'm really grateful to you, ladies, for your time and for all you do for our country, you know, because I think this is really important that you know, that we show gratitude to professionals like you, living your you know, everybody could, you know, everybody can just sit down and say, listen, I'm going to have to look after my family, I'm going to have to look after my future, my children, you know. But you people are not doing that. You're coming out and fighting for the Gambia, fighting for the Gambian people, fighting for the party, fighting for the future of our country, you know. So you know, we have to keep saying thank you very much, and I hope that is and we can never say that enough, you know. And just bear in your mind that you will go into history as pioneers in your country when we succeed, and I you know, I believe we're going to succeed 2021. You know, you will go into history as ladies who came out and took the country to greater heights and rescue our youths from, because right now it's a really serious situation. You know, Gambia is a small country, has so much people going, you know, the back way. You know, the proportion is too much, you know, and I must say thank you. So what will be your last word to our viewers? And if you are in government, when we are in government next, you know, and you are appointed ministers, ambassadors again, or you know, or even vice president, what would be your advice to our people, and what will be your last word to our audience?
Thank you very much, Kejau. I don't think, for me personally, I don't think you should thank us. It is our civic duty. We are all in this together. Personally, I am not doing it for remuneration. I am not doing it for fame. I am doing it because I love my country. I am doing it because I feel this country deserves better. I am doing it because I know that development is not about paved roads. that development is about uplifting the human mind and body. And I would rather we really create a human capital that are job creators rather than job seekers. You know, I think we need to work together. We need to work together for a common good. I think the issue of unity has to come back. I tasted a little bit of it in the First Republic, and boy, I can tell you, I don't think, you know, I feel sorry for this generation because they missed something. They missed that oneness, that togetherness, that sutura that the party leader was talking about. We must bring this back. The change that we are all fighting for, I might not live to see it, but at least we are able to create that space for the younger generation to lift it up and to take it and run with it. My appeal is that don't stop. People keep saying, I don't do politics, I'm not engaging in politics. You know, I'm watching, I'm waiting to see. And I want to re-emphasize that everything we do in our life is politics. Everything. The conversations we have with our families, what we talk about, what we do in school, at work, everything is politics. If you do not like the people that are governing you, come in and be part of that change that you want to see. Because if you sit out there, especially the youths who say, you know, well, it's the you know, the sitting president, or we don't have a role. It's you know, sometimes I feel they don't know the implications this has for them and their future, and they ought to be part of that design process. So I am appealing to every young lady and young man to be part of this process. UDP has come a long way. There's a lot that UDP has learned from. Is that UDP is has been growing over the years, and I think this is the prime opportune time for young people to come in and be the change that they want to see. Our job is we are just passing clouds. We are just creating that space for you and nothing else. Come in, be part of that change. If you do not have your voter registration cards, get your birth certificates, get your passports. Make sure you come, what we can do to help you to come out and vote. This is our last line in UDP. It is do or die. And we have to make sure that it's all hands on deck. Whatever our differences are, we must make sure that collectively we walk through this one and give UDP the honors that it deserves. I think for me, and it's the youths that can do that. So I call upon and I appeal to every single one of us to come out in our numbers. It's not about the money. It's about how you contribute, what you can do to make that difference. So this is my appeal to the younger generation. Be part of that change, because history will be kind to you or will not be kind to you, depending on how you take that action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. That's really powerful, and I hope they listen to you and not let history be unkind to them. Your last word, Sister Jay.
Thank you so much, Kejau, for having us. I want to seize the occasion to thank both yourself and Sister Oley for this wonderful session that I believe has been very inspiring and educative for us as a panel. And hopefully, I'm hoping that for our audience, and hopefully it will, go further. Others also would have the time, the moment to watch this. And if there is any feedback, they can always come back. What I want to say is I'm appealing to the Gambian nation. Gambia as a country, we are the smallest country on mainland Africa. And we are one people. We have one DNA. Recently, tribal politics have raised its ugly head among us. We are trying to see diversity, we are trying to see differences. But even like somebody like President Obama, when he was seeking the presidency, he was like saying that which unites us is more important than what divides us. And it's the same is true for the Gambia. I am appealing to each and every Gambian. This is not just as a UDP member. I am a UDP member, and I am proud to be UDP because I value what UDP stands for, and I've been in UDP for some time, and I am content with what UDP has to offer. But I'm appealing to the general Gambian population that we see the country first. The diaspora, I'm appealing to you to see the country first, and you have done that in 2016 to make a difference. As Gambians, we are not, the party leader has said this, we are not Wolof, we are not Mandinka, we are not Sarahule, we are not Fulas. We are Gambians first and foremost. Actually, we are Africans first and foremost, and then we are Gambians. So this heritage that we have, we should cherish it. We should be each other's keeper, and politics should not divide us. I'm making this appeal because recently the politics is getting nasty, and people are getting insulted, people are being exposed, nakedness and stuff has been put, women, you know, trying to just cow them, trying to make them just quiet, put them in a corner, sit in a corner, you don't have to say something. And as Sister Oley was saying, this can make people, especially women, be scared to come into politics. So what I want to say is, let us see ourselves as Gambians first. This is very important. Secondly, let us see what is best for our country. And then we come to our individual family, community. What is good for the community? What is good for the country? What is good for the community? What is good for the family? Because today, if I go to the market, I mean, a cup of palm oil is $30. They are not going to say, we are selling this to UDP for $30 and GDC is going to pay 25 or NPP is going to pay 15. Absolutely. Cost of living is high. It's difficult for the ordinary Gambians. And the only thing we can do is to choose and choose wisely. Let us forget about our differences. We must have this politics of humility, to be humble. To know that we are servants of the people, to know that we are here to serve the people. And even if when a UDP government comes, Insha'Allah Rabbi, which we are praying for, it would be a servant of the people, not to be lord and masters over the people. This is a very famous Doi slogan. Kejau, you would agree that we are servants of the people. So my appeal is, you can join any political party you want. If you want to go to Barrow and NPP, varsågod, as we say in Sweden, varsågod, you are welcome. Go and join Barrow, but don't insult people. If you want to be doing, well and good. Yeah, go with it, but try to maintain some dignity in your discourse, in your conversation, because I am not on Facebook, but I understand on social media, the atmosphere can be very aggressive, the atmosphere can be very hostile, and we don't have to, it doesn't have to be. We are all Gambians, we should love each other. Yes, we can have political differences, but that difference should not define us, it should not define our humanity. So my appeal is to all Gambians and to the youth, to women, to everybody, please, let us see Gambia first. Don't look at a party leader and say, I will not vote because of this person. Look at the manifesto. Look at the party manifesto. What does this party has to bring to the table? And I am urging all of us that we are entering this year, that it should be decent politics. Let us not be carried away. Even if the other person is trying to go down, as Michelle Obama rightly said, when they go low, we go high. So I'm appealing also to the UDP members, our foot soldiers, decent in your language. Show that you are, a young generation and a people with a difference, that you have character, that you will not go into the gutter. It doesn't matter what the other person says, it defines them. That doesn't define who you are. Stand up and stand up tall. Don't go down, because, I mean, we have a good heritage. We have a beautiful country, which we can build. And a country cannot be built when, like, our differences are breaking us. People are hostile. People are saying things about each other, calling each other's parents or mama's names, or even saying things dirt on people. Is unacceptable. Let this election be, when we go into campaigning, let it be decent politics. I want to seize this occasion also to extend my congratulations to the party leader, Honorable Ousainou Darboe. We had independence a couple of days ago. And after the independence, we know there have been, press releases about rallies, because there is a new wave of COVID coming. There would be shutdowns. And the executive and our party leader, the executive through our party leader, came forward and said, if there is going to be a shutdown, and this is what the health ministry is saying, the minister is saying so, let us do this shutdown right away. That is responsible leadership, because UDP cares for the lives of Gambians. We don't want to put any Gambian at risk. We don't want any Gambian to die. We don't want any Gambian to lose their life because you are supporting UDP. No, we want every Gambian life is precious, and life cannot be bought, it's priceless. So the individual, the ordinary person is important to UDP. And I'm so grateful, and I feel so humbled and honored that I belong to a party whose leadership has so much integrity and so much empathy and so much love for the people of this country, that he would come out and say, you know what, we are not going to have that stadium fundraiser. We are not going to the All Badibu rally. Why? Because lives matter, because COVID is a pandemic, and COVID kills, and people are dying, people are getting sick. So the lives of the people are number one. That is very important. Kejau, you said something here about thanking us and ministerial positions and vice presidency. You are jumping. The thing is, yes, Sister Oley is laughing. The thing is, let me say this, anything you do, whether it's politics, whether it's helping somebody, a person in need, or whether it's just ordinary work, it is important that you do it selflessly. And the sacrifice that we are making, this is what people, ordinary people do everywhere. You have a family, you have work to do, but still you have your country also at heart, and you want to participate, you want to touch lives. So it's not about the position. When I was telling you, Kejau, I'm going to join UDP, we didn't even know Jammeh was going to go. People were not sure. We didn't dream about it. We are just saying that. But we had the hope that he will go. And I was not expecting to be an ambassador. Positions are created as we believe in our religion, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, he made your destiny millions of years ago before you came to be born. So even about fighting for a position or wanting a position, sometimes it's about our iman. Because if you believe that Allah has said, you will be this, a day will come, you will be it. Who would have thought I would be in Russia? Never. I would never dream about it. And then it came just like that. So if you have that iman, and you know you are doing this for your country, because the thing is, let me say this clearly, whenever you do something because you have an ulterior motive, or you have an agenda, absolutely, you will be very disappointed. Yes. Because the thing is, the next second is not guaranteed. Absolutely. We are here talking today, but who says tomorrow I will be here? So if I'm fighting and elbowing and pushing and pulling just because I want to be like in a UDP government, I want that position or that, it's futile. It's futile, and you will not get the reward, because Allah looks at the heart. What is it that you have? What you say in your mouth, is it what is coming from your heart? So I think when it comes to nation building, ours is easy, because people have died during independence struggles. People put their life. Look at people like Amilcar Cabral. You fought until the eve of independence, you get assassinated. But the legacy continues. So I am appealing, when we do things, let us do it fi sabilillah, but because also we are convinced in our heart, this is the right thing to do, not just doing it. So I appeal to the Gambian people. I thank each and everyone. I thank the UDP executive. I thank the UDP, the grassroots, the foot soldiers for the incredible job that they are doing for this party, for the selfless job that they are doing for this party. Because UDP is that party which, you know, as Sister Oley was saying, it's like firebrand, you know, it's like no retreat, no surrender, Amandla, you know, that is the slogan that we have, because we have our Madiba. He went to prison for us, for the whole country, and Keto was thrown out. Of course, with other people, but the UDP signature is there. It should not be forgotten. So once again, Gambian people, I want you not to have selective amnesia. Think years ago, which is the party that really sacrificed. Look at the TRRC. Who are the victims? Who are they talking? Who are the ones who were tortured, who were arrested, incarcerated? You know, I mean, you lose your job for no reason. So when we look at the history, let us be honest with ourselves. The party that has really, really sacrificed for this country is the UDP. And voting for the UDP, it should not be like you are looking at an individual, but you are looking at a party manifesto. We will come back, we will sell this, and we thank all the audience for watching. When we come back, we will speak in the local languages, because that is very, very crucial, that is very important. But as Gambians, I appeal to you, both in the diaspora, let us be one people. We can have our differences. We can be in any party we want, but let us not harass each other. Let us not degrade each other. Let us not, I mean, abuse each other. It's uncalled for. It's unbecoming of a true citizen. So I thank you, each and every one of you, Sister Oley. It has been fantastic listening to you, coming from the executive, leading the discussions, and what you have summarized here. I am sure people would absorb it, and then later when we come back, we will have orders to go in depth with the manifesto, what UDP has 2021. Inshallah Rabbi, I'm praying for all of us to witness that day when they would say, it is a UDP government, that this is not done behind us. This is not done like we are away. May Allah keep us here for us to witness that day. And may Allah keep us here to be able to do the hard work, because there is a lot of hard work to be done. Wallahi, it's not going to be easy, but with dedication, selflessness, and love for country, I am confident that a UDP government will be the best government this country has, and it will show, it will translate, it will mirror in our lives. I thank each and every one of you, all those who are watching. Brother Kejau, thank you so much. So much love for you. Sister Oley, so much love for you.
To all those listening, we really appreciate all of this, and we will continue to bring out the commitments that we have for every single Gambian that we want to put on that table to improve the quality of lives of Gambians. Every single Gambian deserves dignity, deserves to live in dignity, deserves to eat with dignity. We should not be, in the year 2021, be losing our young women for giving life. We should not be having these kind of conversations today. And these are some of the reasons why we want to come in to make this change happen. Gambia is bigger than any single one of us, and this is a country that we owe our allegiance to. So like you, Sister Jainaba, I am very, very, very pleased. It was absolute pleasure being with you on this panel. And to all those who were listening, to our able host, Kejau, thank you very much. You guys are doing amazing, amazing work. Just keep on keeping on. And your reward is already out there. So thank you very much to all the listeners. And thank you so much. I am very humbled to be part of this panel.
Okay, thank you. Thanks
Thank
a lot.
You. I just want to say a couple of words in Mandinka. Alaji sene ngalon na UDP Sweden boromolo nyanta nyin discussion o kela num fana yaje mose fulaka mo fo Mandinka kango fana yefo. Bari ala nata ke discussion o nyin nata na ke angale kango la bari abetata wo fana nyama isaje nimburun tanang sake Mandinka kango to sake fulaka kango to sake karahule kango to sake kasinka kango to in fact bi na kasinka muso ko sasa to le amanna sar hade ate mandano so lafta wala fola non doron ko mbe ko min fo kan non janko politiko to nyalon politiko mbakan bari sa kata sa tara manyo kajafe manyo nen en tara wodolbe kajafe rola ibe nendi rola ntol son kawo silota parce que ala fango man la fi kajafe rola dami yalon koy ba fala fango ibe alquranu karanna o ibe bible rilla o semda kana ka kumol fo kumol ni yalon ko ni malaikol ya moy astaghfirullah wala kapo so again be min dani la wolom nyinti ko gambianol musuka ke albeda woda mbal dani la alsaje ko UDP lom patio mi yalon ko nin nata man sakunda nin ala sonta gambianol ibe fanjela ni man sakunda kono le fa pareta benefitol minu beje nafa min beje gambian bunda gambian korda be wo benefito jelale ate sone yala nak ngawo fanam fole kaccani kono parce que sanjitan lulu ni worowula banko mi yalon ko doko min ketaje ika kontile kana ka fako ibe wo bondila joni ate sone yala bari nga nyin jikole soto ko nin ala sonta nin an tesiki pare tan volontaire nga leadership kendo soto nyaton ko min yalon ko londo be kuoto atondi le foroya be yeloto wolu ben sambala no le dulaton lafta tala dame awa musibbe an fulbe misalmeni on fo goto kala inde mum e yettode mumen hande men ari do min haali fi o diversity languages e rewbe waɗi noon min wawani haalude buy e pularngal min waɗi ɗum koye angale min haaliri nanon min faalirano kono kadi bonane a yeyi wondema hande min fuɗɗi kono si Allah jaɓi inchallahu rabbi meɗen tanƴini min artoyay ɗo hay parti UDP on like parti manifesto amen on ko ɗum woni UDP si ƴetti laamu ko honɗum e honɗum ɓe waɗanta gambiyanɓe te e hoore ɗum meɗen jogii yeesojo mo annduɗa ko dimo andi neɗɗo e wuddimo a haali kon waɗu ɗum wata wonu mo annduɗa inna ene min silan wadde politique ni haala e hunde wotere afta ɗum ɗon ko bye wawi wadde goɗɗum goo ndimo waɗata ɗum konngol ma woni ndimu yagal ma hilan felliti noon watti felliti si Allah jaɓi si tawi on waɗani UDP on votani UDP inchallahu rabbi min mi hersi min Jainab min mi hersi artugol ɗo duuɓi tati duuɓi nayi yeeso mais lando ɗon lan innon ko ɗum ɗo wi ɗon on waɗani awa dimo no foti hersude ɗum ɗo mi yetti kala si Allah jaɓi min artoyay si waɗi on tuma min waway haaldude e musidal fulɓe ɓen ɓay meɗen andi fulɓe kadi si tawi ko fulɓe Gambia ma fulɓe Guinée lagine arɓe ɗum fof no fota ƴettede e haala kan mo kala nafoore mum ko honno woniri e o politique mo min wadde min haali ɗo kadi min acca yennoje ɗen yennugol moƴƴa meɗen wawi wonde mo kala no wawi faala yaade ka faala siɗa faala ko président on faalaɗa baro yehu ka baro na probléme siko tawi ko mama kande mi mama kande ko musidɗo an sa ko pullo iɗa wawi yahude kono hara yennoje ɗen en yennondirani hara o tigi ittani e hunduko muɗum konngol ko annduɗa no kaani ɓay ko hunduko kon kadi janngata qur'ana kadi jooɗoɗa yenna yimɓe Allah yiɗa ɗum nelaɗo Allah yiɗa ɗum malaikaɓe ɓe yiɗani salminimo kala on jarama hande no wawɗon arde jettoɗon men on jarama albarka moɗon en fof ko en Gambia first then after kola ko wawi wonde on jarama min weltike buyna seeɗa Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Oley.
Thank you very, very, very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. Ma salam.